Have you ever planted a beautiful, expensive tomato seedling, only to watch it freeze to death 2 days later? Or maybe you planted your carrots too late and they turned out the size of toothpicks. If you are nodding your head, you are not alone. Welcome to the club. Today, we are talking about the ultimate secret to a thriving backyard. We are going to break down exactly what and when to do things in your garden. I promise you, by the end of this video, you will have a clear, easy-to-follow roadmap for the entire year. No more guessing. No more wasted money on dead plants. We are going to reveal a shocking truth about when you should actually be watering your plants. It goes against everything your grandmother taught you. So, grab a notebook and get comfortable. Are you someone who plans everything? Or do you just plant seeds and hope for the best? Let me know in the comments right now. Let us dive in. Before we jump into the specific steps, we need to talk about why timing matters so much. Mother Nature operates on a very strict schedule. Plants have evolved over millions of years to respond to light, temperature, and moisture. If you try to fight nature, you will lose every single time. The biggest concept you need to understand is your local frost dates. This is the average date of the last light freeze in spring and the first light freeze in autumn. Everything you do in the garden revolves around these two dates. They are your starting line and your finish line. Think of gardening like baking a cake. If you put the cake in the oven before it is preheated, the cake will fail. The same goes for seeds and soil. Today, we are going to walk through the entire process, step by step, so you can work with nature instead of against it. Let us start with the very beginning of the year. January is the month of dreams and planning. You might think the garden is sleeping, but your work is just beginning. Grab a cup of hot tea and your favorite seed catalogs. The biggest mistake people make is waiting until spring to buy seeds. By then, the best varieties are completely sold out. So, your first task is to map out your garden beds on paper. Decide exactly what you want to grow. Do you want heirloom tomatoes or spicy peppers? Draw a map. Keep crop rotation in mind. Do not plant tomatoes in the same spot as last year. This prevents soil diseases. Next, take an inventory of the seeds you already have. Let me give you a bright example. Imagine wanting a rare purple carrot. If you order in January, you get it. If you wait until March, you get standard orange carrots. Also, this is the time to debunk a common myth. Many beginners think old seeds are useless. That is false. Most seeds last for 3 to 5 years if stored in a cool and dark place. Do a quick germination test on a wet paper towel before throwing anything away. This simple step saves you money. So, January is all about strategy. You are building the foundation for your summer harvests without even touching the dirt. Now we roll into February. This is when the indoor action really starts to heat up. It is time to start your slow-growing seeds indoors. I am talking about peppers, eggplants, and certain herbs. These plants need a long runway before they can be moved outside. You need good seed-starting soil and a strong light source. A sunny window is usually not enough. Your seedlings will stretch and become weak. Invest in a simple, cheap LED grow light. Here is a perfect illustration of this step. Think of your indoor seedlings like athletes training for the Olympics. They need the best nutrition and perfect conditions before the main event outside. If you start them too early, they get overgrown and stressed in their tiny pots. If you start them too late, they will not produce fruit before the winter comes. Count backward from your last frost date. Most seed packets tell you exactly how many weeks early to start them. Let us debunk another myth here. People think you should add heavy fertilizer to tiny seedlings. Do not do this. Seed starting mix should be completely sterile and nutrient-free. The seed already contains all the food the baby plant needs for its first few weeks of life. Adding fertilizer now will literally burn the tiny roots and kill your plants. Let us move on to March. The snow is finally melting, and you are eager to get outside. But hold on a second. This is the month of patience and soil preparation. The biggest mistake you can make right now is working wet soil. Let me share a clear example. If you grab a handful of spring soil and squeeze it, it should crumble like chocolate cake. If it clumps together like a tight mud ball, it is too wet. Digging in wet clay will ruin your soil structure for the entire year. It will turn into concrete when it dries. So, just wait. When the soil is ready, start your early spring cleanup. Remove broken branches and old dead leaves. But here is a myth we need to bust right now. Many people think you must remove every single leaf from your garden beds to make them look perfectly clean. That is actually false. Leaving a thin layer of natural debris protects beneficial insects that are still sleeping. March is also the perfect time to prune your dormant fruit trees. Do this before the buds begin to swell. Cut away any dead, damaged, or crossing branches. This opens up the tree to sunlight. Good airflow prevents diseases later in the summer. So, use March to clean, observe, and prepare the foundation for planting. April is here, and the real fun begins. This is the time for direct sowing cold-hardy crops. You do not have to wait for the danger of frost to completely pass for these tough plants. We are talking about peas, radishes, spinach, and carrots. These cool weather warriors actually prefer cold soil. If you wait until it gets hot, they will taste bitter and bolt to seed. Let us look at a great example. Think of radishes as the fast food of the garden. You can plant a radish seed in April and eat a crisp, spicy radish just 25 days later. They are incredibly fast and satisfying. April is also the month to harden off your indoor seedlings. This means slowly introducing them to the harsh outdoor world. Put them outside in the shade for 1 hour on the first day, then 2 hours the next day. Gradually expose them to more sun and wind. Let us bust a myth about planting depth. Many people bury seeds way too deep. The general rule is to plant a seed only twice as deep as its own width. A tiny carrot seed should barely be covered with a dusting of soil. If you bury it an inch deep, it will never see the sun. So, focus on your cool weather crops and getting your indoor babies used to the fresh spring breeze. Welcome to May! For most of the country, this is the absolute biggest planting month of the year. The danger of frost is finally past. The soil is warming up. It is time to plant your summer favorites. This is when the tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and squash go into the ground. But timing is still critical. You must watch the weather forecast like a hawk. A surprise late frost will destroy all your hard work. Here is a solid example of how to handle May. Think of planting tomatoes like burying treasure. You actually want to bury the tomato stem deep into the soil. Pluck off the bottom leaves and bury the plant up to its neck. It will grow extra roots all along the buried stem. This makes the plant incredibly strong and drought-resistant. Now, let us destroy a huge gardening myth. People think you should water your plants every single day lightly. This is a terrible idea. Light daily watering creates weak, shallow roots. You want to water deeply and less often. This forces the roots to dive deep down into the earth, looking for moisture. A deep root system is the secret to surviving the hot summer months. May is a busy month, so pace yourself. Make sure you add stakes or cages to your tall plants now, before they get too big to handle. June brings the heat, and with it, the weeds. Your garden is growing fast, but so are the unwanted guests. June is the month of weed control and mulching. If you ignore weeds now, they will steal water and nutrients from your vegetables. But do not spend hours breaking your back with a hoe. Work smarter, not harder. The best example of smart gardening in June is using mulch. Mulch is simply a protective layer over your soil. You can use straw, shredded leaves, or even chemical-free grass clippings. Lay down a thick layer of mulch around your plants. This blocks the sunlight, so weed seeds cannot sprout. It also acts like a sponge, keeping the soil cool and locking in moisture. Let us bust a major myth right here. Many gardeners think weeds are just ugly. The truth is, weeds are a symptom of bare soil. Nature hates bare soil and will always try to cover it. By providing your own cover with mulch, you solve the problem before it starts. June is also the time to thin your root crops. If you planted carrots or beets too close together, you must pull some out. If they are crowded, they will not grow big. It feels sad to pull out healthy baby plants, but it is absolutely necessary for a good harvest. July is the peak of summer, and the garden is officially a jungle. The sun is blazing, and your main job right now is watering and harvesting early crops. Your plants are working overtime to produce fruit, and they are incredibly thirsty. But timing your watering is critical. Here is a perfect illustration of what not to do. Imagine drinking a huge glass of ice water while standing in the burning desert sun. It is a shock to the system. The same goes for your plants. The absolute best time to water is early in the morning. This gives the plants time to drink up before the sun evaporates the moisture. It also allows the leaves to dry off during the day. Let us tackle a very dangerous myth. A lot of people water their gardens in the late evening because it is cooler. This is a massive mistake. Watering at night means the leaves stay wet in the dark. Met leaves in the dark are an open invitation for fungus and diseases to destroy your plants. Always water the soil, not the leaves, and do it in the morning. July is also a great time to pick your garlic and onions. When the tops start to turn brown and fall over, it is time to pull them up. Lay them in a dry, shady spot to cure for a few weeks. August is harvest time, but it is also the month for a magic trick called succession planting. Your tomatoes and zucchini are probably producing more than you can eat. Share them with your neighbors. But do not let empty spaces sit in your garden. When your early spring crops like peas or radishes are finished, pull them out. Now, plant a second round of fast-growing crops in that exact same spot. This is how you double your harvest. For example, you can plant bush beans, spinach, or even a second crop of carrots in August. The soil is warm, so seeds will sprout incredibly fast. You just need to keep them consistently moist until they germinate. Let us bust a myth about plant exhaustion. Many beginners think the soil is dead after one crop grows. That is not true if you feed it. Add a small shovel of fresh compost to the empty space before planting your second crop. This instantly recharges the soil batteries. August is also when pests like hornworms and squash bugs are at their worst. Walk your garden every single morning. Pick off the bugs by hand and drop them into a bucket of soapy water. Catching them early is much better than spraying harsh chemicals on the food you plan to eat. September brings a shift in the air. The nights are getting cooler, and the summer garden is starting to slow down. This is the month of transition and fall cleanup. Your summer vegetables look tired, and that is completely normal. Do not try to force a dying tomato plant to keep producing. It is time to clear out the old and make way for the new. Pull up any diseased or dead plants immediately. Do not throw diseased plants in your compost pile, or the sickness will spread next year. Put them in the trash. September is an amazing example of looking ahead. It is the absolute best time to plant spring-blooming bulbs like tulips and daffodils. You plant them now, they sleep all winter, and they surprise you with color in the spring. It is like burying little presents for your future self. Let us destroy a myth about fall gardening. People think the growing season ends in September. Absolutely not. Your cold-hardy crops like kale, cabbage, and spinach actually taste much sweeter after a light frost. The cold temperatures cause the plants to convert their starches into sugars. So, leave your leafy greens in the ground and enjoy the best salads of the year as the leaves change color. October is all about soil health and putting the garden to bed properly. The harvests are mostly finished, except for your toughest winter greens. Now your focus shifts from the plants to the earth itself. This is the month of composting and leaf management. Trees are dropping their leaves, and this is free gold for your garden. Do not put your leaves in bags on the street. Let me give you a great example of what to do. Run over the fallen leaves with your lawnmower to chop them into small pieces. Spread these chopped leaves over your empty garden beds. Over the winter, worms and soil microbes will eat the leaves and turn them into rich, dark compost. By spring, your soil will be incredibly soft and fertile. Here is a common myth to bust. Many people believe they need to buy expensive chemical fertilizers to have a good garden. Mother Nature does not buy fertilizer. She uses dead leaves and organic matter. October is the time to mimic nature. You should also take this time to plant garlic. Break a bulb of garlic into individual cloves. Plant each clove pointy side up, about 2 inches deep. Cover it with a thick layer of straw. It will sleep all winter and give you a massive harvest next summer. November is the month of winterizing and frost protection. The hard freezes are arriving, and the garden is officially going dormant. But you still have a few crucial tasks to protect your investments. If you have delicate perennials, young fruit trees, or roses, they need a winter coat. Wrap the trunks of young trees with tree guards to stop hungry mice and rabbits from eating the bark. A perfect illustration of November work is protecting your strawberries. Cover your strawberry beds with a thick layer of clean straw. This acts like a heavy blanket. It prevents the freezing and thawing cycle of the soil, which can push the shallow roots right out of the ground. Let us debunk a myth about pruning. Many over-enthusiastic gardeners want to prune their trees and shrubs right now before winter. Please stop! Pruning stimulates new growth. If you prune in November, the plant will try to push out new leaves, and the freezing temperatures will instantly kill that new growth. Wait until late winter when the plant is fully asleep. Your main job in November is to drain all your garden hoses. If water freezes inside a hose, it will expand and split the rubber. Roll them up and store them in the garage. December has arrived. The garden is quiet, covered in snow or resting in the cold. You might think there is absolutely nothing to do, but this is the most important mental month for a gardener. December is for reflection, record keeping, and tool maintenance. Make a cup of coffee and sit down with your garden journal. Be honest with yourself. What worked well this year? What failed completely? Did the bugs eat all your cabbage? Did you plant too many hot peppers? Write it all down. Human memory is terrible, and you will forget these details by spring. Here is a great example of a December task. Go out to your shed and grab your dirty shovels and pruners. Wash off the dried mud. Take a metal file and sharpen the edges of your hose and shovels. A sharp shovel cuts through roots and soil like butter, saving your back. Wipe all the metal parts with a light coat of vegetable oil to prevent rust. Let us bust a quick myth. People think indoor houseplants do not need care in winter. False! The dry, heated air inside your house is stressful for tropical indoor plants. Wipe the dust off their leaves so they can absorb the limited winter sunlight and reduce your watering. Now, rest and get ready for January. Now that we have covered the calendar, we need to talk about the golden rule of timing, hardiness zones and microclimates. You cannot just follow a generic schedule you found on the internet. You have to adapt it to your specific location. Every region is assigned a hardiness zone based on its extreme winter temperatures. You need to know your zone before you buy a single plant. For example, a lemon tree will thrive outside in Zone 10, but it will instantly die in Zone 5. Always check the plant tag. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your own backyard has microclimates. These are small areas where the temperature or moisture is different from the rest of the yard. Let me give you a bright illustration. The south-facing brick wall of your house absorbs heat from the sun all day. At night, it releases that heat. A plant growing near that brick wall is living in a warmer microclimate than a plant growing in the middle of the lawn. Let us debunk a myth. People think their whole yard is exactly the same zone. Not true. You can use these warm microclimates to plant things a little earlier in the spring, or protect delicate plants from early fall frosts. Learn your yard's secrets. Let us discuss the secret clock hidden beneath your feet: soil temperature. This is fundamentally different from air temperature. A warm, sunny day in early spring might feel great to you, but the soil down where the roots live might still be freezing cold. Seeds are incredibly smart. They will not wake up and sprout until the soil reaches the exact right temperature. If you plant corn or bean seeds in cold, wet soil, they will not grow. They will just sit there and rot. Here is a perfect example of how to handle this. You do not need to guess. Go to the kitchen and grab a simple meat thermometer. Stick it about 3 inches into the garden soil early in the morning. If the thermometer reads below 60 degrees Fahrenheit, do not plant warm weather seeds yet. Wait a week and check again. Let us completely shatter a myth right now. Gardeners often look at the calendar to decide when to plant. The calendar is a liar. Mother Nature does not own a calendar. A late spring can push your planting dates back by 3 weeks. Always let the soil temperature be your ultimate guide. Buying a cheap soil thermometer is the single best investment you can make to guarantee a massive harvest. Timing your pest management is a game of strategy. Most beginners wait until their plants are completely covered in bugs before they do anything. By then, it is too late, and the damage is done. The secret is preventative timing. You need to stop the bugs before they become an army. The best example of this is using row covers. A row cover is a lightweight, transparent fabric that you drape over your plants right after you put them in the ground. Water and sunlight can get through, but insects cannot. If a cabbage moth cannot land on your cabbage to lay its eggs, you will never have caterpillars. It is that simple. You remove the cover when the plants get big or start flowering. Let us bust a major myth about bugs. Many people believe that seeing one bug means you need to spray toxic chemicals immediately. This is totally wrong. A healthy garden needs bugs. If you spray chemicals, you kill the bad bugs, but you also kill the good bugs, like ladybugs and bees. The good bugs are your free army. If you wait a few days, the ladybugs will usually show up to eat the aphids for you. Time your interventions carefully. Observe before you react. And always choose physical barriers before sprays. Let us talk about the timing for your fruit trees and berry bushes. These permanent plants require a very different schedule than your vegetables. The most critical timing for fruit trees involves dormant pruning and dormant spraying. As we mentioned briefly before, you want to prune when the tree is completely asleep in late winter, usually February or early March. But you also need to protect them from fungal diseases that overwinter on the bark. Here is a clear illustration of how to do this. You need to apply a natural horticultural oil or copper fungicide, but the timing must be perfect. You must spray the tree on a day when the temperature is above freezing, but before the tree buds start to open and show green. If you spray after the leaves emerge, you will burn the delicate new foliage. Let us debunk a big myth about fruit trees. People think planting a fruit tree means guaranteed free fruit forever with zero work. Absolutely false. Fruit trees are actually high maintenance. If you miss your narrow window for dormant pruning and spraying, your apples will be covered in spots and worms by August. Put an alert on your phone for late winter. It is the most important hour you will spend on your trees. Perennials are plants that come back year after year, like hostas, daylilies, and many herbs. But after a few years, they get too big, crowded, and lazy. They stop producing as many flowers. The solution is dividing them. But doing it at the right time is crucial. The general rule of thumb is simple. If a perennial blooms in the spring, divide it in the fall. If it blooms in the fall, divide it in the spring. Let us look at a practical example. Imagine a huge hosta plant that blooms in early summer. The best time to dig it up, chop the root ball in half with a sharp shovel, and replant the two new pieces is early autumn. The soil is still warm, which encourages new root growth, but the harsh summer heat is gone. The plant will establish itself perfectly before winter. Let us bust a myth about plant surgery. Beginners are terrified to cut their plants in half, thinking it will kill them. The truth is exactly the opposite. Many perennials actually require aggressive division to stay healthy and vigorous. It is like giving them a fresh haircut. They will bounce back stronger and give you twice as many flowers the next year. Plus, you get free plants to put in other parts of your garden. Your lawn is the biggest plant in your yard, and it has its own strict calendar. Forget everything you see in the hardware store commercials in the spring. Spring is actually the worst time to do major lawn renovations. The perfect time to fix a terrible lawn is early autumn. In September, the soil is warm for seed germination, but the air is cool, and the aggressive summer weeds are dying off. Here is a perfect example of a fall lawn schedule. First, rent an aerator machine to punch holes in the compacted dirt. Then, spread your grass seed. Finally, water it gently. The new grass will grow thick and strong without fighting the brutal July heat. Let us destroy the most common lawn myth in the world. People think they need to cut their grass super short so they do not have to mow as often. This is a fatal mistake. Cutting grass too short destroys its ability to make food. The sun bakes the roots, and the grass dies, leaving bare spots for weeds to conquer. You should always set your mower blade high, cutting at about 3 inches. Tall grass shades the soil, retains water, and crowds out weeds naturally. Time your mowing right and keep it tall. Let us dive into a very specific timing secret: harvesting time of day. You spent all year growing this food. Do not ruin it at the very last second. The time of day you pick your vegetables completely changes their taste, texture, and shelf life. Plants go through a daily cycle. During the hot afternoon, plants are stressed. They lose water and become slightly limp. Here is a vivid illustration. Think of fresh lettuce or basil. If you cut lettuce at 3 in the afternoon under the blazing sun, the leaves will be wilted and bitter. The absolute best time to harvest almost everything is early in the morning, right after the dew has dried. In the morning, the plants are fully hydrated, crisp, and packed with sugars. Let us debunk a myth about tomatoes. People think tomatoes need to ripen completely on the vine to be sweet. Not true. When a tomato blushes and shows its first major sign of color, it is sealed off from the main plant. You can actually pick it right then and let it finish ripening on your kitchen counter. It will taste exactly the same, and you save it from hungry birds and split skins caused by heavy rain. Harvest early and harvest smart. We have covered a massive amount of information today. But the final piece of the puzzle is learning how to adapt this schedule to your own life. Do not let the calendar become a source of stress. A garden is supposed to bring you joy, not anxiety. If you plant your peas a week late, the world will not end. The plants want to grow. Your job is just to guide them. A great example of adapting is using a simple garden journal. Write down the dates you actually planted things this year. Next year, you can look back and adjust. If your tomatoes froze, you know to wait an extra week next May. Let us bust one final philosophical myth. People say they do not have a green thumb. There is no such thing as a green thumb. A green thumb is just a combination of observation, timing, and learning from your inevitable failures. Every expert gardener has killed hundreds of plants. The difference is they paid attention to the timing, figured out what went wrong, and tried again. So, build your personalized calendar. Start small. Focus on getting the timing right for just 3 or 4 crops this year. Mother Nature is patient, and she is ready to work with you. So, there you have it. The ultimate year-round guide to exactly what and when to do things in your garden. The biggest plot twist in all of this? You think you are growing the garden, but the truth is, the garden is actually growing you. It teaches you patience, observation, and the absolute power of perfect timing. When you stop fighting Mother Nature and start working with her schedule, everything changes. Your harvests will explode, your pests will disappear, and you will actually enjoy the process without the constant stress of guessing. Remember to respect your local frost dates, listen to your soil temperature, and always water in the morning. Thank you so much for watching and learning with us today. If this video helped clear up the confusion, please hit that subscribe button. Give the video a like and share it with a neighbor. Now, I have a question for you to answer in the comments. What is the biggest timing mistake you have ever made in your garden? Did you plant too early or harvest too late? Let us share our funny failures below. See you in the next video, and happy planting!